They say private equity fuels growth, drives innovation, creates value, and on the surface, it looks like the ultimate engine of progress. But beneath that shiny surface, a darker story is unfolding. A story about division, about a financial world that isn't just rigged, it's breeding a new kind of caste system. One where the few at the top live in an untouchable sphere of power, wealth, and influence, while everyone else scrambles for scraps, trapped by invisible walls built around them. This isn't just about money or deals. It's about freedom. Real, raw freedom that's slipping away under the very systems designed to create opportunity. Think about it for a second. Why does it feel like no matter how hard you work, how smart you play the game, how many risks you take, the gap just gets wider? Why do the wins seem reserved for a circle so exclusive, you're left wondering if you're on the outside looking in forever? It's painful to admit, but private equity, this giant of finance, is quietly carving out zones of privilege that no resume or ambition can penetrate. It is creating locked rooms filled with the elite, people who don't just control money, but control the rules of the game itself. And the worst part? Most of us don't even see these walls until we wreck ourselves trying to climb impossible ladders. You, as CEOs, investors, managers, leaders, you know this pain. You felt the squeeze of deals structured to favor insiders, the gates slammed shut just when you're poised to step in. You've wrestled with opaque networks where connection outweighs competence, and where breakthrough ideas get throttled unless they align with club rules you never signed up for. To outsiders, this might look like just business as usual, but to you living it day by day, it's a slow, suffocating chokehold on ambition and progress. It's a system selling freedom, but delivering chains wrapped in gold. But here's the cold truth. This structure won't just fix itself. It won't break down because we hope for fairness or because the market demands it. Those at the top benefit from this divide. Complex structures, jargon, exclusivity, they're the gates keeping power concentrated and accountability at bay. In that sense, private equity has become less about building companies and more about constructing castles. Castles built on the backs of those forced outside the walls. The rules disguised as innovation mask inertia, maintaining a status quo where insiders thrive, and the rest are relegated to following, to accepting. Yet within this storm, opportunity hides, hidden in plain sight for those sharp enough, brave enough to claim it. Because systems like this are fragile, built not on fairness, but on assumption. They rely on people accepting the narrative that this is just how things are. That you cannot change the game, only play by existing rules. But what if the real power lies not inside the castle, but just outside those walls? What if the edge, the place where discomfort, rebellion, and transformation meet, is where new wealth, new value, and new influence will be born? This isn't a fantasy. It's a roadmap for anyone ready to step off the beaten path and reject the comforts of compliance. If you're tired of being pushed aside, here's what's crucial to understand. Private equity's exclusionary game is a mirror of a larger systemic failure to connect rare individual brilliance with the right kind of collaboration. The power lies not just in capital, but in alignment, in blazing ultra-focused networks of leaders, investors, and visionaries who break down borders and rewrite the rules on their own terms. Forget the old myth of being self-made in isolation. The next level of influence and wealth comes from carefully curated synergy. People so selective, so sharp, so relentless, they become unstoppable together. This means rejecting comfy consensus and polite conversations. It means demanding brutal honesty and aligning only with those who burn with the same fire. It means patience for the long game and a fierce commitment to sovereignty, where your will becomes your weapon. The key isn't to infiltrate the old castles, but to build new power structures where freedom isn't a promise, but a practice. Structures where your identity, beyond title, beyond past, can flourish without compromise or dilution. The outsiders, the radicals, the misunderstood. This is your arena. It is not about fighting the system head-on in the ways it expects. It's about bypassing, transcending, and creating autonomous networks invisible to those trapped in the old hierarchy. The future of private equity, and true wealth is not concentrated in closed rooms, but blossoming in decentralized alliances of individuals who reject everyone else's rulebooks. This is not a luxury for dreamers. It is the urgent lifeline for leaders ready to claim what's theirs. And yes, this will feel uncomfortable. Comfortable lies are easier to swallow, but the real cost is in the comfort itself. The slow burying of your spark beneath layers of should, can't, and here's how it's always been. The real secret to breaking these molds? It's ruthless self-trust combined with relentlessly questioning everything, including the truths that built these new castes. Only when you unlearn the systems and narratives that bind you can true transformation begin. The gates you face are not just financial barriers, they're mental, emotional, and cultural. They separate the compliant from the sovereign, the mediocre from the exceptional. The invisible shackles smile because they come dressed in convenience, easy pathways that promise security, but demand your fire in return. The first step is recognizing this slavery, masquerading as freedom. Freedom is not given, it is taken. And to take it, you must see the walls clearly and refuse all false comforts. But here's the transformational part. You are not alone. Behind these walls, a new world is already forming. A network of visionaries who forge strength from difference, who value contrast over conformity, who understand that individuality is unity in disguise. This is not about assembling crowds. It's about connecting the few who dare, the few who burn fiercely enough to remake the future. Founders, investors, leaders, each a spark, each ready to build a whole new financial cadastre, not of exclusion, but of radical alignment and power sharing. For every leader, investor, manager feeling stuck, sidelined, or alone, this is an invitation. This is a battlefield, sure, but more than that, it's an awakening. This is the moment to refuse waiting, to stop living a life borrowed by outdated systems, to build networks that embody freedom, not preach it. Networks where your capability is amplified, not ignored, where your vision finds rare but fierce allies, where the next iteration of private equity isn't a gatekeeping caste, but a launchpad for the truly exceptional. Holding these truths tight is how you crack open a future that looks nothing like today's rules. This is where transformation moves from theory into practice, where you stop playing by the old divisions and start building new alliances, where you shift from being a player stuck on inside-outside margins to becoming a sovereign force rewriting the rules entirely. The power is in patience, in choice, in relentless alignment with the few who burn as you do. So, the question you must ask now isn't, why am I excluded? But how do I become one of the few who refuse exclusion? How do you use your unique brilliance not merely to survive within this broken system, but to build something so powerful it reshapes the game? It starts with rejecting comfort, resisting consensus, and stepping into your sovereignty. It's about unlearning what they told you about power and inventing your own definition, one rooted in freedom, connection, and uncompromising will. This is the revolution no one sees coming because it's happening at the edges, in the quiet alignments between rare individuals who refuse to settle. Together, they are the true architects of a financial future where the caste system collapses, torn down not by force, but by the unstoppable energy of aligned, sovereign individuals creating new pathways. This movement is for you, if inside you feel that unbearable tension, this hunger for more, for truth, for freedom beyond limits. The old system profits from your silence. It feeds on your acceptance. But when you rise, when you connect with the few who match your fire, when you unleash the power of autonomous collaboration, you become the solution it forgot. You become the new order of finance, reshaped not by inheritance or gate-kept privilege, but by individual power, intersecting with fiercely deliberate alliance. This isn't a call for conformity. It's a call for fierce individuality united through choice and intent. It's a code for those ready to be ruthless with themselves, to strip away illusions, and rebuild their reality on the foundation of sovereignty. This is not for the many. It is for the radical few who refuse territory, refuse limits, and refuse to be caged. This is where your pain turns into power, where frustration becomes fuel, where exclusion turns into radical freedom. You've felt the cage. Now it's time to break it and build something no one else can break. The new financial caste system, it's already cracking, and the door is opening to those who dare to walk through and seize unexpected destiny. Now is your moment, not to ask permission, but to claim freedom. Not just to climb ladders, but to burn the whole ladder down and build your own. The world is waiting for leaders who will refuse to be defined by old divisions. Leaders who will ignite a future where brilliance is not locked away, but unleashed. The question isn't if this change is coming, it's who will be brave enough to lead it. Will it be you,